How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? So, got a quick little show for you guys here tonight. I was discussing this with one or two brokers and it came to my attention. And I think this has got to be brought out to light because I think these brokers have been lying. They've been lying about who they are. They've been lying about their credit. I think motor carriers are being duped. And the new guys, they don't even know it. So, you know, and I've talked about this company in the past, and I think we got to go over it again. And I think this is one of the reasons why that there's a lot of fraud on this low board. So let's move along. Company we're talking about is Sylectus low board. Now, you may or may not know, it contains a lot of expedited loads, sprinter, cargo van, box truck, but there's a lot of bad characters on there. And over the past couple of years, these frauds, these bad characters have increased. And now I know one of the reasons why, and why Sylectus fails to properly vet the people that use their platform, which helps double down, triple down, quadruple down on the fraud. So the one reason is they deal with this TransCredit. Now, if any of you've paid attention on there, a lot of these brokers, they have credit scores. But the problem with these credit scores are, from what I'm being told, that this TransCredit does not report to any of the factoring companies. In fact, I've heard, and you might as well assume, I've seen credit scores on that platform go up. And then I had a broker tell me that this TransCredit charges the brokers to improve their credit scores or to, say, start their credit on the platform. And after speaking with a factoring company, telling me about a company that's blocked by 14 to 18 factoring companies within their network because some of these factoring companies, they communicate. So the lady came to me and said, listen, a carrier wanted to broker load, take a brokered load from a carrier. And it ended up being canceled, thank God. But she said, why is he telling me, and she didn't know the name of the load board, I had to explain it to her. She said, why is he telling me they have an, 88 or 90% score? Because I see they're blocked by 14 to 18 factoring companies and our score shows 30. So let's take a look here. Company that was brought into question here is Yellow Diamond Consultants, which many of you may or may not know. And another thing about Yellow Diamond Consultants, they love to hustle and collect TSA and TWIC drivers. And from what I heard, it's to show that they have all these TWIC and TSA drivers, which is not true. They are not their drivers. But as you can see here, above my head, credit score 85%. So how can they have an 85% credit score, making the carriers think that they may be decent to work with, but yet there's a reason why that they are blocked from 14 plus factoring companies? And trust me, factoring companies don't just block you for any reason. Usually it's you have extended credit, usually with more than one factoring company, very slow pay, or you're not paying. There's a reason for it. But yet on Sylectus, using this TransCredit, we see 85%. And as you can see on the right over there, I had someone send me this quick snapshot, and I noticed something. I've seen a lot of scores have been going up, which is very strange during this 4-year freight recession and all these carriers and brokerages shutting down. I mean, we see, and I'm just going to read the scores. You know, some of these companies are good. I've dealt with them before, but I see 98%, 86%, 85% from Amtrans, which Amtrans is dirty dogs as well, 100%. Traffic's 94%. This Yellow Diamond, 85%. Vectors Logistics, 96%. Spot Logistics, 96%. Logistics Dynamics, 94%. And Pinnacle, 96%. Very interesting. Using this TransCredit, which does not report to the factory companies, to me, it almost looks like a type of fraud, a collusion of sorts, because it's just for this platform, basically. From what I see, this credit is basically for this platform. How many of you brokers are paying to raise your credit scores here? I'm going to turn this into somebody, special somebody. You know the special somebody? And I think we need to do an investigation here of what collusion is going on here. What the hell is going on here? Because you have frauds on this platform, yet they come from middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden they got great scores. Now, I know most brokers take easy 6 months to a year. I know a broker now that's going one by one from all the factoring companies to establish credit. And that's what started with this person, because they told me this TransCredit was not reporting to anybody. It's very strange, folks. And I'm going to tell you, carriers, something. You need to make sure, especially if you're new, you're using a factoring company. The factoring company, if it's a good factoring company, not all of them are good. If it's a good factoring company, they're going to have your best interests aligned with their best interests. In other words, they want to make sure you're not dealing with crooks, so they don't have a problem with slow pay or no pay, so that they get paid and you get paid. You understand how it works? So before trusting this score on Sylectus, you better make sure you got a damn good factory company and you run these credits from these companies, because a lot of them are failing. You've recently seen R&R with all their companies, $85 million owed, $85 million. Who do you think suffers there? Who do you think's not getting paid? I'll tell you who. It's the carriers. And then you have this AGX now, who I'm pretty sure shut down, but oh, lo and behold. And don't worry, AGX will get a show too. We'll get to it. But they're already operating underneath another MC. This has got to stop. You're screwing carriers, not paying them, and just switch to other MCs. Then you guys are using bogus credit scores. Very interesting. If any of you aren't aware, I would check out FlexShield. FlexShield is going to bring a whole new animal to the game, and I'm going to stand by them, and for a couple reasons. So if you want to visit FlexShield, and I will talk about it more later on, this is just a brief announcement, but I would suggest going over to flexshieldpro.com. This is not only for brokers and carriers, this is for shippers, and it's also for drivers. And I guarantee you, there's going to be no collusion with anybody over there. Or you know me, I'll have to report it. But they're going through everything. And not only are they pulling API and all these data points that Highway and Carrier Assure and Freight Validate and RMIS want to talk about, but there's going to be an actual human verification team. A human verification team that day after day is going to be studying these MC and DLT numbers and doing deep dives and researches. I wonder who part of that team is. But anyways, we'll get to that at a later time.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?